Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining me and Jessie today. This is a new interview series, Come Meet the Overcomers, real stories, real people. So this is stories of people wherever they are in their journey and wherever they started. Even if their journey isn't over, they continue to grow and find strength, and how they find strength to keep going. Because as you know, I'm all about empowered growth and continued growth, and really the journey never ends. So Jessie joins us. She's a mom and wife who loves to cook for her family and is another one like me paying attention to her gut health. She's a certified Christian life and mindset coach who helps women build confidence, improve their self-love routines, and creates positive and confident mindset. So Jessie, welcome, and thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited about this.
So tell me what happened. What happened that made you realize that you needed to change things?
So once I became a mom, I thought my kids came first. My husband, my house, my friends, my family, everybody came first. And I was in the back of the back burner, because that's what moms do, right? And I never really thought about taking care of myself. I thought of taking care of my children. My children were always well fed, well dressed, clean, most of the time. And my house was kept clean. I've always cooked for my family. That was something that I love to do, but I not always took care of our gut health. I thought, I will go for like the cheapest in the store. I will go for the easy recipes. And I really didn't notice the ingredients I was using at that point. Obviously that came with its consequences. There was an overweight issue. There was I'm always tired issue. There was a thing that I didn't have any time left to do things I enjoyed or made me happy, because I was too busy taking care of everybody else. So by the time that everybody else was settled in bed, I was just pooped. I didn't want to do anything else. And that went on for many years, because I had 3 children. I always say that I had 5 children. 2 of them were delivered right into Jesus's hands.
Oh.
And so taking care of that and just recuperating from that and all that. So that took its toll.
Yeah, that must have been really hard emotionally.
It was. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to do on Monday, I'm going to come back and tell you the story of how that went, and also how I recovered from those tragedies. I was about 43 years old, and it was in the afternoon in September. I was sitting at a doctor's office waiting to the results from my physical, and she came in with this big folder. And she sat down and very seriously, she said, you're really young, because 43 is still relatively young.
Yeah.
And you are pre-diabetic. If you don't take care of this, you're going to be full-blown diabetic in about 5 years or maybe less. And I was like, I couldn't believe what I was hearing, especially because diabetes is a illness that runs in my family. And I've seen the tolls that it takes in a person, like the horrible thing that disease can be. And I was really scared. I really didn't, I thought, okay, something's got to change, but what? What can I do? I had no idea. I remember coming home and I said, okay, no more rice, no more bread. But, I never thought that things that I was eating had sugar in it, because I never bothered to check the labels. I was eating stuff that had tons of sugars, and I thought, oh, it's fine. Oh, no, this is fine, because, it's not rice or it's not bread. And I wasn't really serious about it. And it took a while for me to get it. But once I thought, okay, I need to check the labels. I need to, see what I'm eating. Things changed dramatically around here. And because I'm the only one that cooks, everybody gets to eat what I eat.
How'd they feel about that?
Honestly, about 80% of the time goes really well. We do have our meals when the kids go, what is this? Because, kids are kids. And of course, I don't have them in a low carb diet, because they're kids and they need their carbs. And it's not about not eating carbs. It's about not eating. It's about eating healthier. You know, for example, I love rice. Everybody loves rice around here. And so what we did is instead of eating rice every day, we now eat it maybe once or twice a week. And we have substitute white rice for brown rice or quinoa, and sometimes couscous as well. And they love that. And they have gotten used to that. And now they don't really care for white rice. Every now and then I try to sneak in cauliflower rice. It doesn't always go successfully.
No, I know.
And it's fun to try to trick them sometimes, but I mean, you know, it's you have I've gotten really creative with my cooking. I'm Mexican. I love Mexican food. This is, you know, the food of my when I was growing up and all that. And so I like to find alternatives for Mexican food, you know, and make it healthier, make it good for you. And so we have fun. It's all about having fun and doing it together and taking care of our situation. Well, it's been several years now that I started really consciously taking care of myself, taking care of the way I eat, exercising, moving around, things like that. That I've lost a lot of weight, and then and just because I switched the way I eat. I not so much dieting. I don't like diets because you diet and then you stop it and then you gain it back and then some. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but
Yeah, it's true.
you know, you diet, you like so good for a few weeks, you're like, oh, I lost all this weight or whatever, and then you stop and then you gain it all back and then you gain even more. So I call it healthy eating. Just, you know, watching what you eat. Now, don't eat too much sugar. Processed food is really bad. Certain oils, you know, that you can use, you can swap for, like canola oil is really bad. It causes inflammation. So try to use like avocado oil or olive oil, you know, things like that, that you start learning along the way. And you can substitute things, you know, and get creative with your cooking. I still make my favorite dishes as far as Mexican food goes, but I um, have substituted things for, you know, healthier dishes. So it's been a journey. I'm still on it. I'm still walking through it. I still don't have like the perfect body or whatnot. You know, I'm 48 now, and I'm going through perimenopause. So controlling my metabolism has been harder than before. uh, but I really feel healthier than I felt when I was 43 or 41 or even in my 30s, because I'm watching what I eat. I move more. You know, I take the time to um, love myself. That's what it boils down into, you know, loving yourself, that just the way you are. It's not about changing who you are. It's about loving yourself just the way you are, you know.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and that's true. I like what you said about making it fun,
Yeah.
and how your gut health just affected your whole life, really, because you were so limited. And I like what you said about diet versus healthy eating.
Yeah, it's I've tried so many diets. I did Weight Watchers. I did the South Beach diet. I did keto. I did paleo. I mean, you name it, and I probably did it. But it's really just eating healthier and just feeling good about yourself and moving and, you know, getting creative. For example, one dish that they love around here is called picadillo, and it's just ground beef with vegetables and tomato sauce. And so, and the vegetables we use for that is usually carrots and potatoes, the really starchy type of vegetables. And so what I do is I take mushrooms and I put them in my food processor, and then I process them like very fine. And when I'm cooking my beef, I add the mushrooms. Nobody knows, nobody notices. Everybody eats it really well. And I'm hiding there a vegetable. And that traditionally is eaten with rice and beans. And so sometimes I would use, instead of the potatoes, I use like black beans and just the carrots. And then I use either brown rice or quinoa to serve it. And for me, I like cauliflower rice. I don't mind it. And so I will serve myself some cauliflower rice and then the meat on top. It's just, a matter of getting it right. And the cauliflower rice you can season with, onion powder, garlic powder, a little bit of salt and pepper. And it's just, it tastes great, and you're eating your vegetable right there and you're having a great healthy meal. And you don't have to go hungry. That's another thing that people think, oh, you go hungry. You're dieting and you are going to go hungry. And trust me, I don't go hungry. I eat well
Yeah.
and I don't go hungry, and I don't eat after a certain time. I eat my meals, on time. The thing I'm really bad at is snacking. I forget. Honestly, I get so busy doing things that by the time I look, oh man, it's almost 5 and I have to start dinner. So I don't snack. And my coach tells me you need to make sure you're snacking, in between lunch and dinner because it's a long period of time. And I'm like, oh, I need to get better at that. But like you said, I'm still in this journey. There's things that, I have made my mistakes and everything. And I'm still walking through it. And, we live and learn, like they say.
Yeah, so it sounds like, you had the really wake up moment with your health
Yes,
and getting that diagnosis, and you saw where that was headed and you
right,
decided to change the
right.
direction where you were headed,
That's right.
and trial and error and modifications along the way. So
Absolutely. And my last physical was last August, and I am fine. There's no pre-diabetes in my system at all. Like my glucose level is normal. Everything is normal. And that's what I said. I feel healthier now than I felt, before. And, I love it. Yeah.
that's great.
One day at a
So
time.
yes, absolutely. So you mentioned that, so this thing happened and you're doing all these things. So where did you find the strength and the fortitude to make those changes? And how do you find the strength now to keep going?
I
You
think it
mentioned
boils down.
self-love. How did that happen?
Yeah, I did. I think it boils down to the realization that you need to love yourself. You really need to. And there's no guilt. There's no guilt. There's no you know feeling of, oh, what about my children? I think I have become a better mom to my kids now that I take the time to do things that I love and taking care of my own body, because I'm not sick. I used to get sick all the time too. I used to get colds all the time or headaches. And when that happens, I can take care of them. I in last November, I think, yeah, last November. Yeah, just before Thanksgiving, I had COVID. And I didn't realize I had COVID because I only had really intense, horrible headaches. I didn't have a fever, but I had um, like a headache right here. And I pushed through Monday and Tuesday, but on Wednesday I was just pooped. And I remember being in bed almost all day, which is so unusual. I'm a very active person. And that day I felt like, oh my gosh, I can take care of you guys. And so that was my life before, because I was so tired. I was sick all the time and things like that, that I couldn't take care of them, of my children and my house and my husband as I wanted to, because I had all these things going on. So now that I have the energy to do things like that, to make sure that I pack a good lunch for my son who goes to school. I make dinner for my family every day. Somebody asked me, "You cook dinner every day?" I do, and I enjoy doing that. And I make a menu, and I get really creative on that. But it boils down to making that decision. You have to make the decision to love yourself. And then once you do that and you're really serious about that, you start then making changes, and you start little by little. It doesn't happen like from night to day. It really happens little by little. You start changing one thing at a time. This for me took, so I'm 48 now, so it took about 5 years to slowly but surely start making changes in my diet, in my habits. Time with God was very important to me, and I was not doing that because I didn't have time or energy to do it. And now is one of my priorities, to spend time with Jesus, to meditate in his word, and to, fill my soul with whatever he's telling me for that day. And so little by little start making those changes. It doesn't happen right away. It doesn't, don't be impatient because when you start Monday and by Friday, you know, you don't see any changes. That's not going to happen. You start little by little and one thing at a time, you know, one step at a time. And, you know, the weight loss was a span of a year and a half or so. Then I gained some back, and then I'm trying to get back to, you know, that level of where I feel good. So, I mean, it's like I said before, I'm still in the journey. I'm still walking this road, and I think I'm going to stop walking it when I go home to the Lord, because while we're here, you know, we're still walking this life, and we're going to encounter challenges and disappointments and, you know, things like that. But we're also going to encounter victories and, you know, great wins. And so we have to take advantage of that and just keep walking one step at a time, one day at a time.
So I like that. I'm taking some notes too. So I like the small changes, one step at a time was a great tip. Loving yourself, being patient. And I like what you just said too about focusing on your victories, focusing on those wins.
Absolutely.
So that is super helpful.
Yeah.
So, and taking time for spiritual things. So, and
it is
how your health really, instead of so you spent yourself, you poured yourself out into these other people and other situations, just like what I had mentioned in the blog this week. It's so funny. And so you pour yourself out into but really, because now you don't have time, you hit a wall. And so you're all poured out and now you're empty.
Yep.
And so you took time to regroup and refocus and care for yourself so you can care for others.
That's right. You cannot give out of an empty cup. You have to keep filling your cup. You have to keep taking care of yourself first in order for you to take care of others. It's like when you go in an airplane, right? And that, you know, they have the whole speech of, you know, the doors, you know, and then they say, if the gas mask comes over, what do they say? Put it in, you have a child with you, put yours first and then help your child. Because if you help your child first without putting yours, by the time you finish, you're passed out.
And then you're no good for nothing.
And no good to nobody, right? So it's exactly the same thing. You have to take care of yourself in order for you to take care of somebody else. Because otherwise you won't be able to be as helpful as, you know, you could be. And as a blessing, as, you know, you can be a blessing to others. But you need to make sure you are taken care of first. Your soul, your heart is full, so you can then give to others. I think that's one of the things that I realized first too, because I was, you know, saying, helping all these people, but I was depleted. I was tired. I was overwhelmed, and then that brings short fuses around with the people you love. You're mad and you're like in a bad mood because you have all these things going on, and that's not good. That's not healthy.
Well, that's great. And I love that illustration. I like how you wrapped it up there in the end too. So very, very good. So we are on Zoom and live in Facebook. We'll wrap it up and I'll go see if there's any questions. We will post the recording so it'll be available, and those that registered will get it. So again, this is about the journey, and Jess, you mentioned that a few times. I can't wait to see where this journey takes you and keeps taking you.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, God, whatever you want me to go, I'm willing to do it. And it's a pleasure to, even when somebody comments, like one person says, oh, this really helped me, that really brings joy to my heart, because if I'm able to help at least one person with my story, then praise be to God, because I did what he wanted me to do.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story, what's helped you and what keeps you going. And I'm really glad we got to know you a little bit better. Thanks for sharing with my group too.
Yeah, my pleasure to be here. It's amazing.
All right, thank you so much.